we should start by saying YouTube. What's going on? It's your boy Buddha, back in the building, back in 2022 for another POWERCREEP podcast with my co-host. We got Tweaks.
What's up, fellas?
In the building. Just Tweaks and your boy Buddha for the start of this one. We'll see if the other guys are able to make it during the podcast. I know Demos is feeling under the weather. Cryptman is drowning in crypto, so they got business. He really is. So we gotta take care of business while the homies are doing their thing. What's going on? We had an update today. A lot of you guys that are here were most likely in Tweaks or mine or both of our streams throughout the entirety of this morning into the afternoon. And my goodness, let me increase your audio so you don't sound like a mute.
Oh,
there we go. Now we're a little
just
more
little
equal.
baby Tweaks. That's fine.
Little baby Tweaks was talking.
We're back.
Now we're back. Technical difficulties. Your boy Buddha is recovering from a lot, as you guys know. But the support has been insane. So let me just continue to say thank you. Let me say thank you to Tweaks for holding it down in my absence and all of the other content creators. So glad to be back and happy with how 2022 is starting out. We got the homie you can see on the screen, Ardine. Tweaks, how'd your summons go?
Bro, summons went all right. I got him pretty quick. Took me a little bit to get the Ark. I was on doing free pulls to get the Ark, but took me like 36k or somewhere around there. Wasn't too bad. I got him. I mean, I was obviously going for the Ark, and I got 3 dupes of him. So not too bad considering I really enjoy his kit. I'm pretty happy about it.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. We're definitely going to get into why Ardine is, I think, one of the most fun units to play right now.
Yeah.
We talked about that a lot. Just the fun factor. And last Cloudia maintaining this horizontal power creep. But it's like, how can they introduce new things? I feel like they did a really good job with this character, bro.
I do too. And I know I was listening to your reveal video and all that kind of stuff. And you talked about that before about how, having a unit who's good, level with a bunch of the other physical DPS that we have nowadays, but just having that one niche area where he excels so much. I think that's I agree with you completely. I think that's a really, really good way to power creep. Like just very specific scenarios.
Exactly.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah. So glad we're on the same page.
Aesthetics though, dope ass unit.
My goodness gracious.
This is the Bromondo as you have dubbed him. He fills that role and he's very fun.
He's a cool dude, man. Like, I'm down. I want to join the rebellion, bro. I'm in. I'm sold. I want to drive whatever ship he's got going on, the Harmattancraft, however you say that. But
yep, that's probably spot on.
Thank you, honest. Man. Been working on it.
You're practicing. Very nice. It's your moment to shine.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get into those details. I think after we do our deep dive into the homie himself.
Why don't we look at his stuff? Because I'm a huge fan. So I did get him pretty early on, and I was able to 5th enhance, like I usually do. I built up my XP pot so I can jump to level 100 and 5th enhance him. He has so much really, really good stuff in his kit that I mean, as much as we've seen from the release of his video, all the details, his kit's pretty damn complete. There's a few things that I think would have been, pretty nice to have in his kit innately, but to put those on, just to complete it full round, I think we're able to do that, or at least a lot of people are able to do that to pretty much complete his kit.
Right.
But dude, let's talk about him because he is, by definition, pretty much by the start of the battle, pretty much every battle you're going to start, he's pretty much a neutral DPS at the beginning. Non-attribute. If anyone's had to be Baron, even Bayland, and you've used a unit that wants to get MP back and use things like Goddess Kiss, Honey Elixir, with his apple pie, stuff like that. And especially for a unit that uses so much MP, Goddess Kiss and being neutral is a huge quality of life over pretty much every other attribute attacker.
It's crazy.
2B, I mean, if you know 2B, how much she can slap her neutral damage, and that is neutral damage on weapons that's boosted, getting MP back to utilize, whatever she needs to do, and then he needs MP for all of his seals. Like, that is the one thing that I wish they would have added into his kit, but I mean, it's not that difficult to add 11 SC into his kit. It would just be really nice to have.
Sure.
I think it's super vital to his kit itself to have Goddess Kiss.
Absolutely.
For most scenarios.
Yeah.
But dude, art-wise, my dude.
He's clean, man. Like
that's clean.
He's the coolest dude in Last Cloudia. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, people might get mad and like, because a lot of people are Balin simps, but.
Bro, look at that katana. Look at this. Look at this shotgun,
bro. Like, goddamn.
All right. All right.
Let's calm down.
All right. Let's talk about his abilities real quick. So, S1, nothing too crazy with it. I believe it's 8 hits, single wield, 16 dual wield. He basically, it reminds me of Kohaku's S1, but it's not a warp. It's a very tight line of sight. But once he gets there, he like jumps through the enemy, right, and ends on the back. So a very good way of placing yourself behind an enemy. Nothing crazy there, nothing crazy multipliers. But here's where we get crazy. Crazy Caliber, his S2. Okay,
man,
it is almost instantly activating. I do not think it persists. So if he gets interrupted in the middle of the animation, it will cut out. But if he gets it off, it is pretty long range, right? Like it's activated. It's almost like a sawed-off shotgun, right in front of him. But it can carry across the map. Like if anyone's actually saw the Pablo video I posted earlier today, pretty soon after he came out, of hitting both like the second wave of Pablos from like left to the right side of the map and hitting both of them at the same time with his S2. Like as a shotgun, I would not have expected that to go that far.
Yep.
But it's pretty impressive. Now, it does say a wide fan-shaped area. This, again, is not wide enough to instantly clear IDC3. So keep that in mind. It's not he can
insta-wipe.
It's not the size of a lot of other people's big AoEs, but it's pretty large.
Yeah.
What would you equate it to?
Kind of like the range of Shift X-Bet's S3, maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not that.
Maybe not that big, but it's along those lines where you're probably going to miss one or two enemies.
Exactly.
And I was using him in Story mode, which I know you didn't get to, and I was just Pirate's Feast S2, just running around S2ing everything. And I can tell you, like the formations with like 6 enemies, I wasn't hitting everybody, but when it's like the 4 enemies relatively close together, or even spread out a little bit, it was just nuking every single one of them.
Exactly.
And if it was like the 5 enemies, you'd hit like all of them except for like the back top one.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was doing. I was using XBet with her S3, and that's exactly when I would miss a character with that 5 or 6 man squad.
Yeah. So, but still kind of crazy AoE, and it's instantly activated. Like you don't need to run. He doesn't have that need to jog around and go to a position to hit him. Like he puts it on command where he's standing.
Yes,
which is sick.
Yeah.
Assault Trip is S3, which we know from the showcase is going to be... Oh, just reiterate. His skill 2 is 12 hits, 24 dual wield.
I was going to say,
instantly activated, and you can spam it.
It's super spammable. Instant 24 hits. Like...
It's disgusting. I do think it does miss a... All right. We'll get into that later. Right, regardless. S3, Assault Trip. Instantly close the gap for a medium area combo attack that launches enemies in the air. This is probably his best break skill. Which, I mean, we don't have to test his break at all, but his break's not bad. It's comparable to, like, not quite as Zyke's, but almost there, especially if you put the stance on.
Yeah.
So the innate break values aren't that good, but dude, he does have some good break to him, and I think using that stance will be very, very useful for a lot of units, or for a lot of players, to actually have a really good physical DPS as well as a breaker. And And we haven't even got into that yet, but he can fill so many different roles.
Yeah, I really like. Yeah.
Instantly closing, gap closing, like 16 hit, 32 dual wield. It reminds me of Shift Alice's S2, where he like kind of like warps in and hits upwards and like flips around and shit.
Right.
Like Shift Alice's S2, it's not the quickest of animations. So your damage per second, your DPS skill for him as a unit, your fastest and most DPS is going to be his S2. Is just spamming S2 with 24 hits, big PP damage caps, like all that kind of stuff.
For sure.
S4 Water Rebel is special. I haven't even used this yet. I didn't find it that interesting on the reveal. Like I just don't think single. It just doesn't have enough cap to be interesting to me. It just
the animation.
I wouldn't
cool.
use it. The animation's very cool where he
Yeah.
flips around. I think it's this. People were saying in chat it's the same exact animation as his S3, except for his S3 or his special, he actually lands on top of the
Exactly.
like the rover.
Yep. Yeah, it's dope.
And just starts running people over.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty dope.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the switch between single to AOE and then reverse. Like,
No, and that's another big reason why I don't use 2B's AoE
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
The only reason I would use, or I would want his special maxed, is to use shit like Power Counter or Demon's Throne to get more damage when his gauge is full. Like he's one of these units where I would just leave their gauge at full and just work around that. Give me enable extra damage. As to his traits, these are kind of sweet. Boost skills with a seal. So this is what's going to be when those seals are activated or when you use them in battle, they're going to have those extra first effects, and we'll get into those in a sec. But Battlestar recover MP 10%, which is really nice just because he's going to be using a lot of MP. If you stack like a ton of MP ups on him, you're going to at least have some use out of it at the beginning of battle. Auto activate seal power charge. So this is actually nice. I'm glad they put into effect one of them that's going to be active at the start, because they're all very useful, but power charge is the one that gives you 2500 cap and like 25% skill damage for like 5 MP per skill use.
Exactly.
And then plus 10% strength. I think that's innate. That's just like an automatic like mini sharp eyes kind of.
Yep.
And the fact that they just give you that for free without having to activate one of them, and so you always at least have one seal active. Like unlike units like Dante, who you actually have to activate one in order to use it at the start of battle. He was already got one going for him.
Exactly.
I'd like that a lot. Rebellion is trait 2. I just straight up physical damage plus 40%. Physical damage cap plus 3,000 is just nice to have. Physical damage cap plus 3,000 more against boss monsters, which is sick. And then you're going to get chance to gradually boost strength when taking physical damage. So as you're hit during the wave, I assume this is probably 1% per hit. And we'll get those numbers on Lake, but I'm from reading it, from like understanding like where they probably go with it, it's probably every time you get hit, you get 1% physical damage boost. That's my guess. It's either 1 or 2%.
Yeah.
But we'll get those numbers later. But that's again, you're not seeing a ton of cap here, but with the hits and the damage potential and how fast you can hit, it doesn't. It's kind of like a 2B situation where he's going to be smacking a lot of hits, so it doesn't really matter how high his cap is, as long as it's like a certain substantial amount where you can still get that DPS out. Let's go over his seals, because I think so. I have all of them on him, right? Yes, I have the. Okay. Let's go over his magic first. Insurrectionary Anima. This is sick because we do not have any other way except for defense downs, any other way to drop defense of enemies. And for enemies like Mardagade, for enemies like stone walls and stuff that have a huge ton of defense, we've only ever been able to get down to 50% defense with Theopolis for the first 10 seconds, or our max defense down before that was Giga Drain or High Giga Drain, which was 35%. And then obviously Drain is 20% and all that other stuff. So this does a stack with other defense downs. So now that we have this, you can get, if you use it at the start of battle, you can get up to 70% down on defense of the enemies with this and Theopolis for the first 10 seconds. Or generally, you can get minus 55%, with high drains. Or, just if standard minus 40% with this and like a normal drain. Like, it's super useful, especially for harder battles that you're going to be having teammates that maybe aren't doing a ton of damage, but dropping a defense by 40% is a huge boost of damage. And I know we've talked before about how good debuffs are, especially debuffing enemies. And if anyone who has Sheeta has used their anima, like the minus strength percent, minus 20% strength on Sheeta's anima to drop the offensive capabilities of enemies, like that is huge. So you definitely feel the boost. So I really enjoy that he has a defense anima, and that's the first one we've seen. So let's talk about these seals. So the seals, like before, this power charge is going to be activated at first. So you're always going to have at the beginning of the battle, if this is set, as long as this is set and activated in your menu. And by set, this is what the menu has set. It has to be activated. This means not set. This means you just set them. So when they're set, these all have passive effects that are activated during the battle itself.
So that is true.
Yes.
Okay, because
there's a passive effect.
I was very confident with that, and then I went into battle to test and double check to see if those abilities popped up, and I didn't see any icon or indication of them.
They won't pop up. They're just passive effects.
They're innate. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So this is set. When this is not set. So whenever you're having power charge.
Okay.
So right now, this is not set, and it's never going to be active. So we lose that 10% strength bonus at the end. But if we just turn this on, and we just choose to use any other seal in battle, this strength plus 10% will always be active.
Exactly. Okay. Because that was my whole dilemma, and that I think is what confused me and a lot of people upon the reveal showcase. Because it is similar to Nero's Buster Arms or whatever they're called.
Yeah, they both have passive effects.
They have a passive and an active effect. But the thing that confused me is that for Nero, they're switched. So it's that first part that's passive and the second part. And so I'm looking at this thinking, like, it doesn't make sense, but it does when you think of it in the way that you're explaining. And I'm glad that's true, because I did tell some people in the LC Discord, and they're like, are you sure that's how it works? And then that's when I did the test, and I was like, oh, shoot, now I'm not. So I'm glad.
That's how exactly it works. Good, I'm glad.
I'm glad we did.
But that also means that all of these passive effects are always active if you have them set, which is sick.
Yeah.
So we'll go through them all, because there's a lot of really good effects that are
absolutely
in here. So you pretty much always want to have them all set like this. All right. So seal power charge, this is the one you're always going to have active at the start of battle, if you have it set. Skill attacks use 5 MP for damage, plus 25%, damage cap plus 25%. That's just solid. Again, nice to have, whatever. When you take that off, you can switch that for 0 MP for any other seal at any given time, which is sweet. Let's say you want to enter this battle, you want to do some a little extra damage. You finally get a null mouth off, and you're like, hey, I want to apply poison. Well, you can switch this. You can just magically go to the magic menu, activate the other seal, poison charge. You will lose 25% damage and the 25% cap, but you will be now spending 5 MP for a chance to inflict poison. So if you want to activate some Terramouth shenanigans, you absolutely can. Now, I don't know the percentage chance on that yet. I think we'll get that from Lake whenever he decides to, because I believe he is organizing all the information now from data mining. So when he gets that for us, we'll know. But yeah, I think this is we don't have many things in the game that can activate ailments on like our DPS units, really. Like, of course, we have Logias, we have Vs, but on a true powerhouse of a DPS, we really don't have that. I think Jagrog has that on her paid spear, but like this is not very common. I don't know how useful it's going to be, but we might find this point, in which case that this will be, and I think I'm very excited about it. Poison especially is one of the highest damage enabling for many units, like using Venu Cleave from the Babblerot Arc, that AER, to get 50% damage. Even activating Terramouth for like your spellcasters, for literally, because Terramouth affects all damage, it's not just physical. So even activating this for your other units to enable them is huge. And so it makes you like not have to bring an ailment spammer. You can just apply poison and do some pretty crazy stuff with it, right? So this is pretty cool when set. So of course, when this is set like this, you always get damage to enemies with status ailments plus 20%. Swick. Heavy charge, one of my favorite ones. Of course, this is starting to gain MP charge or MP cost because it is so good. You increase them more likely to faint and plus 100% break. Assumedly, this means plus 100% faint, 100% break. What this is an additive boost to your actual break values in game. Because you start out at 100% break, let's say, your primary is 100% break. This is essentially doubling your break by itself, comparing to like no other boosts. And then double that with dual wield. So like comparatively to a single wielder without this charge on, you're doing 4 times break, which is pretty sweet. And then it's like one set damage to enemies in Feint or break plus 20%. That's essentially a free chance drive.
Yeah.
Free chance drive. Why not? And it's funny, he has chance drive innate as well. So we'll get there eventually, but just double it up. Flame Call and Stone Call. Now, I actually have under very good information that this scenario right here, these Flame Calls and Stone Calls, was essentially nerfed. Okay? Originally, so you know how we always knew like Leaf Saber existed?
Leaf Saber? I didn't
Leaf
know
Saber
that,
was
no.
like kind of like
Before my time.
Stone Saber for like the
Right.
from the collab.
Right.
But that was a thing at one point that got scrapped. Apparently, from the information that I've been given, there was a Thunder one of these
Oh my god.
that was supposed to be on him.
So we would have had 4 elements.
But that would have been like literally so busted, dude.
I wish they did it.
Oh, me too, dude. So we have Flame Call and Stone Call, but can you imagine if he could cover non-attribute and then 3 other elements just by switching? So like Flame Call, right? Again, 10 MP to use. You get 5,000 cap for fire, which it makes all of his skills use fire at that point. And then you get obviously when this is said, you get 30% fire skill damage. Sick. Stone Call, 10 MP, 5,000 earth cap, and then 1 set earth skill, 30% damage. And these all stack with all the other boosts you'd give them. So if you want to build him to one of these elements specifically, you absolutely can. And the beauty of it is, because he's such a good non-attribute attacker, these only affect his skills. So when you're wanting to get Goddess Kiss procs back for this MP cost, you only have to equip non-attribute weapons. You don't have to equip fire or earth to get the most out of it.
It's crazy.
It's amazing. It's a very good setup. And of course, you don't even have to use these. If you don't want to use fire or earth element, just use non-attribute. And you can just use power charge or like heavy charge or dragon buster. Doesn't matter. But these are sick. But imagine if there was like a thunder call or whatever.
Dude. So
lightning call.
So my analysis of this guy, I may be prematurely jumping in with this, but
yeah,
to me, he's the perfect fusion. He's a fusion of Nero and Dante and then refined.
I think so.
So I consider him.
I don't think you're far off. He is definitely power creep the shit out of them.
Well, he power creeps the shit. Yeah, I mean they have been power creep for a while, but just in terms of like how the seals work, his animations, his design.
I'm a big fan. Dude.
To me, he's the Vegito of Dante and Nero.
That's funny.
That's how I see him.
I'm not saying you're far off. That's pretty funny.
But
though.
so why I'm thinking of that at this moment is because if he had that thunder call, he would literally have all of Nero's different skills. His
Probably.
S1's fire, his S2's thunder, and his S3 is earth. And then his special is no attribute. Like it literally would have been poetry. For my analogy.
Yeah. He's pretty damn good.
But even without that, it's insane. He's insanity with this coverage. So anyway,
all right.
Sorry.
Let's talk about Dragon Buster. So I think one thing that people will have been talking about is this crazy damage and skill. Oh, first of all, MP cost, damage cap, right? Yeah. So let me point out something real quick. So read this. Skill attacks use 50 MP for damage plus 100%. 59,999 damage cap against dragons. What it does not say is plus 59,999.
Very important.
It says 59,999, which means that cap cannot go higher than that. It's a hard cap. It is not adding to his original cap. This is a hard cap, which is still disgusting, right? So 60k cap for dual wield hits, pretty much unconditional, just has to be against dragons. Pretty disgusting.
It's the best dual wield cap in
just
the game.
To point out, like Stone Call, it says damage cap plus 5,000. This says 59,999 damage cap. It is stating that you cannot raise it. So what that means, though, is that if you're planning on using this, if you're planning on fighting dragons, you don't even have to worry about any of the damage cap boosting items in the game. Not at all. You straight up build for damage. Because the cap is going to be 60k, whether you like it or not, and you'll never have to touch that. You just build straight damage. So like for what I have right now, is essentially just the most damaging things I can possibly put on him, and I don't have to worry about any cap.
You build to reach that.
Right. You build to reach it. You don't have to build to go past it. But what Buddha and I were discussing about Dragon Buster. So we were going in and we were testing how effective this is against dragons. Okay. And this is a very important point to his build. It says when set, physical attacks are effective against dragons. What this does not mean is that this is Dragon Slayer. Okay, this is not a replacement of Dragon Slayer. This means it is giving more bonus damage against dragons, but is not the same thing. We were going in against Mardagade, which we were testing because we wanted to showcase him a little bit against dragons, right? We were testing the damage potential of him with and without Dragon Slayer, and if it made a difference. Because with Dragon Slayer, if this was essentially Dragon Slayer, it wouldn't make a difference at all. But what we found is that using Dragon Slayer truly improved the damage. So what we are thinking, which I can assume that you agreeing with me, which we talked before. If you have, like, let's say something like Shift a little bit, or Saintly a little bit, or Expet, giving that plus 30% Slayer boost damage, it's kind of like that, where it doesn't replace your Slayer, it just boosts the damage of that, right? So this could be, and I can't speak from experience because I don't know the exact numbers, this could be a 30% boost to damage against dragons off base. It's not stackable with special boost. I mean, it's stackable with special boost and Dragon Slayer, but it's just like an on top damage boost. So this just 100% does not replace Dragon Slayer. So keep that in mind. So if you're going to be fighting dragons, which we were practicing before, and we're playing around with, equipping Dragon Slayer and special boost is going to be a huge boost to your damage still. So just keep that in mind. That's all.
Agreed.
So as to the passes, let's go to skill costs because he has like a ton of stuff. Fighting Spirit 3 and 4. Why not? Give him strength and HP. Sure. We can add all the other attack ups if we felt like it. Illusion and Sandstep is kind of sick because I assume these both have 10% evade to physical attacks, which is really nice.
Yeah.
It helps survivability quite a bit, and then he also gets a boost of movement speed, which I don't know. It's +1, +2, whatever. Soldier Mastery. Sure, he is soldier, so he's going to get that strength plus 10%, and then he's going to get essentially another damage boost against snipers. I don't think this is going to be like Sniper Slayer.
I don't either.
Right. I think it's like a separate boost, and I think they stack, but I think it's a separate boost. Auto Brave, Auto Protection, fantastic. Crusade, just because they didn't have enough nodes on the tree, they decided to combine critical or auto critical and auto haste.
I'm
Why
not mad at it.
Not mad at all. Pride 2, sick. No attribute attack raise 2, nice. No attribute critical raise, nice. Weak point boost. Of note, this is not going to be usable when he's non-attribute because it will never affect that. But if he's using his fire, if you're wanting to use his fire and or earth calls, then and you're using it against weak damage, this will come into play and you will be doing a free plus 30% more damage. I literally really like that they gave this to him.
Hell yeah.
Pose of Honor, sure, he's going to need MP from after killing, using skills. Blessed Speed, dual wield innate is sick. Sword High Boost, Machine Boost, and Machine Mega Boost are all, I mean, they want him to be using swords and machines, as you can tell in his, art and his overall aspect of how he plays. He's going to be sick to use. Machine Mega Boost is really nice to have, in all honesty. I really, really enjoy that. Quick Reload, big fan of this. One of the biggest reasons being is that for a lot of units nowadays, getting extra skill stocks back for free when you're using skills is a bit ridiculous. If people have been using 2B and stocking, like, I don't know if not everyone has Purple Orb, not everyone has all the skill stocks, not everyone has like ways to increase their skill stocks. The more chances you get to just get a free skill back, or this is a 50% of the SCT you used, but free SCT back for doing nothing, I'm a big fan. And you see that very, very effective with 2B if anybody's used her.
Oh, yeah.
Indomitable Spirit, this is going to be essentially your half from 0, but adds a damage plus 30% buff, which is just disgusting. Call Master 2 for free. Nice. Chance Drive, this is what I was talking about before. This will stack with the
seal.
The heavy guard. Yeah, the heavy seal. Giant Killing, just nice to have. Revenge Heart. This is kind of cool. I think we saw this on what? Who's it?
I think
Ed?
it's
Shift Medine.
It's Medine, yeah.
Schmedine?
I'm pretty sure.
Shift Medine. So Sardine and Ardine have this. Once they die, give them a little medium heal and then defensive mind plus 30%, which is sick. And that's all to it in the kit of the skills. Now, how would we build him, right? So we talked about the Dragon Slayer and Special Boost. If you're going to be using Dragon Buster, definitely use that. Still use these Slayers that you're going to be using normally, like Slayer and Special Boost. If you felt like it, Vaz is probably very good on him if you just don't want to use any Slayers at all.
Yeah.
That's just 40% damage boost if you're not critting and not using Slayers. But generally, I would say be prepared for the battle that you're coming into, and that entails probably if you're going to use a lot of Dragon Buster stuff, which costs 50 MP per skill use, you probably want to use MP ups.
Yeah.
Probably want to use MP ups. Probably want to use Pose of. I mean, we get Pose of Honor. Goddess Kiss is going to be sick, so we'll get into that. This is how I have him built. And we were fighting Mardagade a little bit, so of course I have Dragon Slayer Special Boost. Speed, I think, is very important for him. We have his S2 needs line of sight, so to get into position to use it, your dude's going to be running around. So fast speed for 1 SC to get +2 speed. And that's from the Guardians UR arc you get from Story. That's a free arc you can get. Stacking Pride with Pride 2, why not? They do stack. +50% strength at max HP. Pose of Glory is good to have on him, of course. Pirate's Feast is big because on a lot of situations that, especially multiplayer, especially story mode, tower even, you're going to be wanting skill stocks at the beginning of waves, and that happens wave 2 and onward. And I think this is one of probably the most goated skills in the game, to be honest, overall.
We've been getting very spoiled with Pirate Feast units, Yule Feast X-Bet. You know?
Yeah, disgusting.
Yeah.
But yeah, throwing it in this 9SC is definitely worth it if you're going to be fighting waves. Goddess Kiss, I think, is something that he should absolutely have on pretty much any build. If you're planning on it extending more than your current skill stocks. Or even having the MP to use all your skill stocks and get that extra damage. Because even if you have 300 MP, that's only going to last 6 skills of use if you're using Dragon Buster. So if you're going to need that extra MP to use the skills afterwards as well, if you have more skill stocks, you're going to need to generate some back with Goddess Kiss. And being a non-attribute, he can gain some really, really nice Goddess Kiss procs. Sky has Surprise Dark Backstab if you feel like you need it in the battle. Blessed Speeds, innately, very nice. Skill stocks. So we talked about quick reload and the synergy between skill stocks and quick reload. Of course, skill stock 1, skill stock 2, Purple Orb are going to be very, very nice on him. Quick reload, sick. I do add Sharp Eyes because even at... This is going to be 3% of the max MP for... This is a huge boost of damage. Just throwing it out there. Huge boost. What this does make you do is it costs extra MP for each skill use. So if I have 500 MP total and I'm using Dragon Buster, normally it would cost 50 only, but since I'm using this, it's going to cost an extra 15. So each skill use is going to cost 65 instead, which honestly isn't that much for an extra 50% stackable damage.
Yeah,
that's just kind of like biting the bullet. Like, if you need to use those skills and do max damage, like, this is worth 100%.
Exactly.
Power Count on Demon's Throne. I talked about those before. His skills, his S2 especially, will use Demon's Throne if you're far enough away. And if you're not capping, this is very, very useful. I mean, if people have it from the DMC collab, which I don't expect. Calm Master 2, stacking with Calm Master 1, why not? They're stackable. Break Boost, because we are going to be breaking against Marta, so I figured we'd throw that on now. Berserker is obviously a good physical attack damage skill. And then we get into High Speed Shopkeep. High Speed Shopkeep, again, I will shout out again. Getting this free during the Near collab and having this on that free LR and is one of my favorite skills to ever put on a unit for 1 SC plus 3 speed at the beginning of battle before you get hit. The amount of movement speed you can stack for 2 SC, which is plus 5, it just makes units so much more fun, especially for him being his first skill. You probably want to use his S2, him getting into position and just ripping that off. Big man.
Yeah, sorry, newbies.
It's okay. Well, since while you're here, let's talk about his paids.
Let's do it, because your boy, it's a new Buddha, everybody.
This is the Bromondo. This is 2022 Bromondo Buddha.
I should discuss it. For anyone who wasn't here during the live stream, we did some crazy summons. I do have Ardine. And because of the generous Buddha gang sponsoring exactly... Yes. They sponsored about 4 multis worth, and then I did buy enough paid for the step up. It gave me exactly 50 credential.
Beautiful.
And your boy has converted to the dark side. Officially, 2022 brings Buddha, who is now a statistic of buying the paid gear. With hope that they will continue to introduce them to the Crimson Ore shop. So it's not now a paid wall to get these things, but it's just a time thing, right? I'm justifying that I'm paying for the return on it now. We'll see if that holds true. That's how your boy is justifying, because you guys know I've been very adamant with my opinion toward paid gear. But
yeah,
let's talk about them to explain why, because I am so biased toward this guy.
These are kind of nasty.
I couldn't resist, man.
The real. All right, so let's talk about their pluses and minuses and what, these look like the most amazing unit things that we've ever had. Like some of the best days we ever had, right? Like literally. All right. So first of all, being a machine type weapon fills a role in machines that we don't really have, right? We don't really have an extremely strong machine weapon in the game right now, especially for non-attribute users. The other thing we could use here is Tech Blade, if you felt like it. But we really are missing out on a lot of new non-attribute machines. So Raven Shot giving not only 264 strength, but 30 MP. Very nice, especially for synergy in his kit. Critical rate plus 5%, physical attack special damage plus 15%, which is solid. And then physical attack damage cups plus 1,000. Great, I'm into it. This is best in slot for him pretty much at all points in the game. As to his second weapon, dual wield, this is my favorite thing on him right now. This is what I have on him.
Absolutely.
Being a non-attributed attacking weapon and being a sword, which synergizes with his kit. He has sword type boost already. 306 strength, 25% physical attack damage. Get that thing to plus 40.
And it's a katana. I mean, how
and
much
it's a katana.
More perfect?
Imagine if he was actually using this katana instead.
Imagine if that was part of the lore.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Equilibrium Sphere, again, this is, I think, best in slot for him. Because he honestly don't think he needs cap. If you don't, who cares? 100%, 100 strength, and then 15% physical damage to non-attribute. And then his second paid. So let's go to Outlaw's Buckle. This is ridiculous. Not only are the stats absurd, so this is an accessory, gives 500 health, 52 strength, and 50 MP.
Yeah.
Building into his kit, which is disgusting. Chance to nullify damage taken, or physical damage taken. This is probably 10%, I would say. Most paids are around 5 or 10%, and they're not quite 20. So probably 10% nullify physical damage taken. We'll get those numbers from Lake. This is interesting. This is the first time we've seen this happen on a kit. Boost the maximum stock of the third skill, bottom left skill. This is essentially skill stock 3. For no reason on an accessory. Okay,
So
now,
stupid.
this sounds incredible, right? It is incredible. But I want to moderate that a little bit, because on a unit that has 1 or 2 skill stocks on the S3, this has more of an effect. But since he already has 3 base, it's not that noticeable. I say that with a grain of salt, because it's still ridiculous. Because he has 3 stocks, okay? 3 stocks in Ailey. If you stack this in Purple Orb, it's going to be 5 stock of his S3, as well as a skill stock raising arc, such as Stardust Live or Council of 10. That is 6 skill stocks of his S3. Being a 32 hit instantly gap closer, having 6 stocks is freaking ridiculous.
How much can you get 2B up to? Do you know off the top of your head?
His S3?
Her S3.
It's 4 or 5. I think it's 5 with Council. But I think her S3 has 3 and 8 as well.
Yeah.
Pretty gross. And then not only that, you get 50 MP here, but you also get a flat 50 MP plus 50%.
Yeah. I was gonna.
These are 2 of the most incredible paired and synergistic equips we've seen on a single unit
Ever.
People were asking earlier, and I'm sure they've asked you before, which one do I pick? I'm like, dude, I don't know. They're both really good.
They're crazy. Personally, just because I'm a stock simp, I would prioritize.
I've trained you in such a good way. Very good.
I am a Tweaks student. I just am. But the gun is so good. It's so good because of what you said. I'm glad you brought that up, because when I was building him before considering buying this, I'm looking at my machines and I'm like, if I don't need Trishula, what do I use?
Which you don't. The only reason you'd be using Flame or Stonecall is if they're weak anyways.
Exactly. So now Trishula is not needed. So, like you said, Tech Blade was the obvious choice for those S2 boosts. But that doesn't help the other 60% of his kit.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty much best in slot. I would say this is probably one of his best in slot kits, just for damage potential, especially for, I mean, just general use. This is super ridiculous.
Yep. So that's the exact setup I have on him as well. And as much as I have hated paid equips my entire LC career, I do not feel bad about owning
for the
these things,
Bromondo
bro.
moment because he's sick.
Because he's my favorite character in the game, bar none, guys. Like, it's not even close. And just the completionist of having my favorite character, how everything happened, just the accumulation of a lot of stuff. I don't care. I'm owning it. And
you love to see it.
You love to see it, as that Zero says. But shall we showcase this man? We've talked about him plenty.
We might as well. So why don't we just show off his skills real quick since we talked about those, and then we'll jump into some interesting content.
I'm down because I am caught up, by the way. FYI.
Ah, very nice, very nice. Yes. So let's do. I'm just gonna do him by himself. So one thing I have done lately is I've been able to get him get Council of 10 up to par. So I have now the ability to not have to bring other units with me to use his skills.
That's great.
So we're going to mess around and watch. I'm going to bring them in anyways, but let's go with Theo and let's group them up and then we'll call it a day. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do this first one. Oops, I threw something on. Let's do this. I'm going to show his S1. He just jumps right in. And he's already behind them, right? Like, this is going to be behind them. Sick. Great way to get behind them. As to his S2, which what we talked about before, just...
Oh my god. It's so nice.
Crazy. It's so nice. And we'll show in a second how spammable it is, but then his S3, whoop, warp.
Wonderful.
Yeah, he's pretty gross.
My kind of unit.
Dude, he's so much fun.
He's just satisfying. Everything. Everything.
Okay, so why don't we just bring... Oh, I'll bring your expet. Why don't we bring Sarah and just...
Beautiful.
Cool.
Just boost him up all the way.
That's all the Slayers. That's all the boost I can possibly give him at the moment.
This will be a good time.
I guess I could use Flame Call instead since I'm... Yep, let's do it.
Hell yeah. You don't have Theo, do you? Or I guess
I do.
You're not.
Oh, I do.
Beautiful.
Like, the fact that he's lagging my screen that much, it tells you that there's a lot of things happening.
There's a lot of hits. There's a lot of hit counts happening at the exact same time.
It's beautiful. Will he ever use poison? So yeah, I think he will. I think we'll come across a lot of scenarios where poison... Here's the thing. In battle, you can switch these at any point. Yep. That's the beauty of it. Any of these seals you can switch at any point. And it costs 0 MP to do so.
Because you can have a Terrormouth build, like Tweaks was saying, have a support character, use a Nullamelth, switch to Poison Seal, poison, then switch back to Power Charge, get your 25%, and go ham with now a 50% boost on top of that. So there's utility in it, especially when you don't have as many damage multipliers as you're going to towards the end game of your gacha, of your LC career. Using those status ailment strategies is super viable.
Buddha, are you in?
I'm ready, bro. I'm sitting here.
All right, so one thing I am going to do is kill my AI isn't stupid. I'm going to take out the anima because I don't want to use it. But let's go with... So what we're going to do here is we're going to mess around with Mardagade. Now, as many people know, this is... I think it's 10, 11, and 12 million HP, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there.
And the best strategy against him is usually to break. So I'm bringing my big PB break DXR. Buddha's bringing Tinkeely just for an extra physical damage percentile boost, not for the cap.
Yep.
And bringing Theo for that minus 50%. Minus 50% defense. One thing I did want to do is I want to bring... Watch this. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes. That's a great QOL, by the way.
Uh-huh. The fact that I don't have to scroll for Rad Moonstone. Well, we can talk about that in a sec, but...
We can.
Let me put on... Do I have fast recast? Please tell me I have fast recast on him. Let's go.
Nice. I do need fast recast. That would be great.
I don't need this much MP. Or HP. All right. So the idea here is we're going to use 2 Ardines and just nuke the shit out of it.
It's going to be a good time.
So the DXR is going to break with 1S3, and then we're going to just murder.
Like, we thought that quadruple Loug was fast. Just going to do some normal attacks, because why not?
Yeah, no worries. I'm waiting on it. We're waiting for DXR to get his ass in gear. There we go.
I'm very excited. I feel like we just had the appetizer, now the main course.
Okay. So here's the deal. We're going to activate Dragon Buster. I'm switching over to DXR and using S3. He's going to break, and we're just going to S2 it to death. That's all that's going to happen here. Dragon Buster. Let's go. like what the that's over 10 million HP.
Wow.
You know there's lag there, so we don't see it all, but
I didn't really see much.
Didn't see much, did you?
No. It would lag and a quarter of the health would be gone. And it would lag and a quarter of the health would be gone. Oh, man. That's with 2, by the way. 2 of them. So,
yeah,
keep that in mind.
Yeah. I think whenever this... man, I wish we could do... whatchamacallit? Lestoria right now. That would be really nice.
Which one? Oh, Lestoria. Well,
it comes out tomorrow. But that would be funny. But yeah, you guys see the dragon killer that he is. Like, it's disgusting. I mean, we could showcase his potential, but if anyone's seen earlier, if you guys have like the Pablo battle I had, his S2 is ridiculous. He's a very fun unit.
He really is.
Very good at clearing waves. One of the best wave clearers I've seen, especially with movement speed. Just S2 Pirate's Feast. Like, crazy. Just craziness.
Yep.
That's Ardine, man. That's Ardine.
He's a cool fellow.
He's cool, and he'll be very useful for a while, dude.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah. A lot of debate argument, right? So I guess we can get into that a little bit, because that's always a hot question. Should you summon? Is he bait? Do you need him? Sadly, they're not simple answers in Last Cloudia ever, because of how technical this game is, because of how different everyone's account is. I think... Go ahead.
Dude, like... People ask me all the time, like, should I pull? Is he worth? Like, that's a question you're going to have to answer, one, yourself. Number 2, like we've stated in the game before, like, there are many, many units that can fulfill the physical DPS role. Many units. Is he going to be very good at what he does? Absolutely. Are there other units that, can fill that role and just maybe do it a little slower? Or even do it faster in some situations? Absolutely. He's not going to be best in slot in every scenario either. So, like, asking, is he a must pull? Like, no. There's no unit in this game that's a must pull at all. Realistically. There are so many combinations people can roll with to, like, make content work. And sure, if you have options, sure he's gonna be better at some stuff, but like there's no must pull. He's sick though. He's gonna get an extremely high score on the tier list, especially in ideal. Like Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, ideal is him versus dragons, no?
Ideal is him versus dragons, 100%.
Like,
And having the MP to do so, and having like stuff like Mardagade, like that is just disgusting.
yeah. It just
Yeah.
doesn't even make sense.
And you know what we've talked about before is in a niche scenario, he is the best at what he does.
Exactly.
Not only that, he's very, very um he fills a lot of roles. Like he can be the DPS powers, he can be the breaker, he can be the element spammer.
Mm-hmm.
He can be an element attribute attacker, which you need in a weak scenario, doing that DPS extra. Like
He's so
disgusting.
versatile.
Yeah.
So versatile. I mean, again, for like a new player, insanity, all packaged into one unit.
Yeah, and he's a crazy kid. Like the only things you really need to add to him are what like
MP
probably Goddess
regen.
Kiss,
Mhm.
probably Proud Force.
Exactly. 'Cause
Even you probably don't even need Goddess Kiss. If you never want to switch his power charge off, you probably don't need it.
you literally don't need Trishula or Sandworm with him.
Yep.
Neither. That's crazy. I mean, that's kind of like how 2B was, but even this guy's further than
Yeah.
that because then he can switch elements when you need someone who's strong against fire or earth. Like, he's like both Tweaks and I are at a point, especially as you get to end game. Once you get your essentials filled, like you're good enough DPS, you're good enough support, you get a nice fleshed out team comp that kind of can handle a lot of the mid to early end game experience. Like at that point, kind of just go for who is gonna be fun and you have to go for units because now they've introduced these 3-party teams. This guy's gonna be a menace in one of your parties
Yeah.
as
100%.
as the DPS there. So
Just
like
classically starting out at full MP, just doing whatever you want him to do.
so would I be mad at you for throwing a couple summons at him? No. I would
No.
not at all. But again, I'm also a
absolutely
fanboy.
not. Right. And we've seen the 60k caps, but in other situations he can hit 25, 30. I've had him go up to 40k caps. Like it's ridiculous how much you can get him up to.
Yeah, he's got the top tier non-dragon boosted damage as well.
Mm-hmm. He's attribute. He fills into Sarah fills him in if you're gonna use fire or earth. Like,
Yeah.
bro,
Yeah, nuts. Cool.
and he's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun to play. I think that's the most important aspect people forget is that they ask for logistically, could I pull in this unit? Is he bait? Dude, have fun with the game. Like if you feel like
Honestly.
you want to use this unit, and you might not get him, sure. But if you get him and you're like, oh, I feel like I wasted gems, don't. Like,
I'll tell you
he's
what.
awesome, man.
I'll tell you what.
Thanks, Buddha. Thanks for the gift.
Yeah, of course. I like him a lot more than I like Sarah.
I don't blame you. And you know what? That's you can't know that, right? Like,
No, right.
if you were to like, hey, I want to pick between one of these two units. I don't know which coming first, but like I'd pick. You probably would have picked him,
Yep,
but
hands down.
Now you have both.
I do. I know, right? Like I can't complain. But I mean, yeah, like to that point, you need your DPS before Sarah is how good she is.
Right.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. It's so hard to answer that question because you have to. It's not a quick answer. Like when you ask that, especially for newer players, like you gotta understand to give you a real effective answer, we would need to sit down and have an hour-long conversation or more about your account, what you have, like.
It's funny though.
It's an
Even
evolved
then,
answer.
it's still up to RNG.
And even then, of course, it's all up to RNG. Like my answer is don't ask me until you have 90k ready to drop. Because
fair enough.
especially now that I have felt that, you're not guaranteed shit. And if you want to talk about collabs, you're even more not guaranteed as a free-to-play player because the only way to pity things during collabs is by doing paid crystals. So
Right. Seasonals too. Seasonals and collabs, man.
Seasonals
you will
and
never get them
collabs.
unless you use paids.
Exactly. So this whole saving for collabs as a free-to-play budget player, you're not getting you might not get shit anyway. So I can't even tell you to save for those. Like my only advice, if you are going to be a saver, a hoarder, as your boy was, is don't ask the question until you have 90K ready. Which, to be fair, a lot of people have. And I think one person did it. I was like, he's like, I have 130K. I was like, I would send it on Ardine.
You would.
I would.
Absolutely.
I would.
Bro, he's so sick.
So anyway.
And I think if you guys have the tools to use him as like, a replenishable SCT battery, like when is that Papaya Honey Elixir user? Dude, like, bro, you can absolutely do that with him. His Goddess Kiss procs are fantastic. He's neutral. He works similarly to 2B in that way. Like, dude, he's fun. And that's one of the bigger reasons why I love 2B is because of that aspect as well. The regular attacks are so strong.
Oh yeah, dude.
It feeds off of like every single physical attack situation because it's not attributes.
So quick. Such quick regen.
Yep. Super cool.
So Ardine's
sick.
He gets the gold star. He gets the 2 thumbs up. Shall we?
Buddha, I have an idea.
What?
Before we get into like the event stuff, I think we should talk about the quality of life changes that we got.
We could do that. I was thinking the Ark.
Ark? Let's do that.
All
I lied. I'm stamp that out. Get it out of here. All right, the Ark. So I only have it at level 1. I've been teaching him stuff, so I haven't been able to use it. So why don't we go over to the probability section and check it out in there?
Sounds good.
Wait, hold on. Why don't we do this now?
That's
before
a good
I forget.
idea. Yeah, don't not do those. Do that every day. Don't think that you can save those to do it all at once. Whoa, doubles.
I like Crimson. Big fan. Big Crimson fan.
Crimson.
370, I'll take it. All right. Oh, where's the banner? There we go. No, we want to go to recommended. That's what we want. All right. So St. Rose, Harmattancraft St. Rose. Solid stats. No MP though. That's my only issue with it. But regardless, HP 3,300. Nice strength. Whatever. Not the best stats in the world. I would have expected better, to be honest.
Yeah, that surprises me. That MP stat especially.
All of them, honestly. Nothing's over 300. The HP solid, I will give it that, but nothing
AP
else.
Stat, yeah.
All right. Arc trait itself, Earth Nano attribute to physical attack damage plus 20%. That is nice to have, just 2 different things that are boosted. We don't have many Earth boosting arcs, but we do have some pretty good physical damage boosting arcs. So, not crazy good. Boss waves start for each soldier type ally, HP strength defense plus 4% excluding unit. I don't think that's that effective, but I can be proven wrong. I mean, that's just for the HP and defense. I think it's kind of nice, but nothing crazy. That's the same as using getting an extra HP or defense up 4. Well, I guess defense up 4, but I don't know about HP. Battle start autocast Stonewall 2. This is kind of nice because it's for the whole party. Autocast Stonewall 2. That essentially gives you 35% thunder mitigation for the entire party for the first 40 seseconds. So it obviously will not stack with, other stone walls that are used, but straight up 35% all thunder damage mitigation for the entire party for the first 40 seconds. That's nice.
Absolutely.
This is like something that if I wanted to and if I had an extra space for on a support, I would just throw this on if I know it's going to be like a quick battle.
Right.
Against a thunder enemy.
With like a
probably something like against Vajra, I think it would be probably pretty good. But yeah, nothing too crazy on the passives, honestly. As to the skills, I'm a big fan. Of course, these are normal accelerate illusion. Those are just filler skills, right? Stone Geyser is nice to have. I do think this is probably pretty effective in arena as well, just because a lot of people use the Stone World stuff from Dr. Stone as defensive.
True. Very true.
So if you're using a mage, you can use that. Machine Shield. I don't know if this is the first time we've seen this. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure.
But Break Boost is cool, and then we have this on other arcs, but we have this on 2 other arcs. I think one's a UR and one's an LR, so this is nice to have on a perm arc. No, actually, this is on Rebel Dragoons. One of those weird arcs.
It is Rebel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Earth High Drive 11. This is the first time we've seen it. 11 SC for Earth physical attack and special damage plus 30%. This is really, really nice to have a high drive on a non-limited arc. We do not have many of these, if any of these. I'm not sure.
I don't think any high drives on generals, no.
Right, we have a dark high drive on an LR.
Mm-hmm.
Ice high drive is on...
Oh, ice high drive
Megalodon,
is
right?
on Megalodon, so that's the one.
And the light high drive's on a UR. Yeah. This is nice to have, and especially since we have so many Earth attackers. We do have a lot of Earth physical attackers, and this is just a good shout. The Ether Reward, I actually really like this one.
Me too.
60 MP, HP 250, Earth, no attribute attack damage plus 10%, which works directly with him with the MP. And then 3 attribute or ailment resist.
Big
Curse,
ones.
stun, and illness, which are 3 of the most debilitating.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very big fan of this. And it actually kind of looks cool. I like the Desert Rose.
Hell yeah. Me too.
Dope.
I like these like dual or multiple attribute damage bonus. Yeah. They start.
And you know what? This is attack damage. It's not just physical,
Yes.
right? So any Earth or no attribute, this is for specials, for magic, and for physical.
Yep.
So Arc skills too, by the way. Sick.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the Arc. I really like the things it brings, especially the AER. I think it's a really good AER for him, especially being 60 MP, and then boost both his no attribute and Earth attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So quality of life stuff.
Quality of life stuff.
All right. So one thing you can do in this game now is you can go to your inventory and set favorites. So what does that mean? Let's go to our weapons. I'm like, I hate scrolling for my weapons, but I like this sword all the way down here. What can you do? Well, you can go like this. Let's say, let's pick something that
that you're actually. Oh, you don't.
That I'm actually gonna use. All right, let's just do this one right here. Let's go to this revolver. I believe it was from event or whatever. What you can do now is go to your inventory. You cannot do this in the inventory screen while you're on a unit, but if you go to your inventory, you can set this as favorite. What does this do? So I set this as favorite. What do I go do when I go to my unit? So I go to Ardine, and I can have a bunch of these listed, which I just passed them up. I can go to Ardine, go to change skill and equipment. Instead of scrolling all the way down to it and trying to find it, you can now filter to favorites only. Bang. And now I can find it immediately. I don't have to scroll for it. Super huge quality of life, especially for things like I use a lot, Scarlet Blade, and that's pushed way down. Things like Tech Blade, I mean, I could obviously flip it and could find that pretty easily, but it's all the way down. Cactus Hammer, all the way down. You now not have to do that at all. You can just, if you want to equip like a bunch of your favorites, like if you want to equip Trishula especially, which I haven't done yet, but I'm going to favorite that gun. Trishula especially is going to be one of my favorite ones. You can just find it immediately. Now, the other quality of life is what we've seen them add is the other option right here. So this is favorite. X only means unique weapons to that unit or that type.
Yep.
So there are paid weapons that are unique. There are some event weapons that are unique, but there also are like or female and male unique.
Yep.
And those will include those. So of course this one, Raven Shot, this is his unique weapon, which is why the only thing that shows up. But if I go to an accessory and I do X only, this will not only include his paid, but also one that's only applicable to males.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. And it shows you in the game, right? So anything that has a yellow tint to it is going to have an X only added to it. And there's other, especially if you go to the armors, there's a lot of them. But let me put that baby back on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite quality of lives. I know it's not the whole entire whatchamacallit, like skill set builds type stuff. But it is a hell of a lot easier to find things like Trishula, find things like Rad Moonstone, find things like Cultist Pendant, which are way down the list. Instead of scrolling every single time and replacing it on other allies, you can just quickly just go to favorites and switch it. Pretty banging.
Yeah, saves time. I like things that save time.
Anything that saves time and quality of life in this game is a big fan for.
Absolutely.
Event time?
We can talk about it.
We can talk about it.
I know you got the job done earlier this morning. I was
there.
there.
Are there any things here?
I still haven't touched it, honestly.
I did get the job done earlier. And so what they added with this is they added refresh the shop. So I hope you guys bought all the mega cluster of the shop beforehand.
I love the prices, man.
They refreshed it. Yep, beautiful. Love to see it. They did not refresh the fishing spot, of course. But what they did do is added this place called Battleground right in the middle of the map. It has 2 battles, okay? Devils and Divinities. There's an easy and a God version. And again, like the old one, this does have a recommended level of 999. This is a pretty hard battle, I would say. Only really for endgame players, just like the Kraken. So if you're new, do not stress. Like this is all about building up your account. If you're new, do not expect to do all of the events in game, or like all of the quests, because there needs to be a level of difficulty. There needs to be a disparity between some stuff and then super end game stuff. It's nice to have challenges, so when you get there and you're ready, you'll be ready. But this isn't that bad to have new players not be able to complete stuff, fortunately. What I will say is this Devils and Divinity easy mode, which we talked about on Buddha stream before. This is cost 0 orbs, but gives a 5x AP bonus to both Ardine and Sarah, right? Am I correct in that?
You are correct.
So if you're looking to build out their kits, this gets you 5x AP on both of them.
I'm doing it as we speak.
And again, 0 orbs. A normal quest is going to give you 1x AP. This gives you 5. So do this to teach skills to Ardine and Sarah. And even in the other ones, there's a lot of units in here that get 2x AP. Like literally, I think the DXR gets 2x AP. Why would you not be doing this over normal maps?
Yeah, it's a free
and it's
AP
extremely easy to fight. It's like 16k HP. It's almost like fighting Theria hard mode. So that's what it reminds me of. There's like a few enemies and you just nuke it. Yeah, pretty sweet. Time. This one is pretty hard, honestly. It's like not. I used. I think it was at the time you saw. I think it was 2B, Theria, and Shift Eliza.
Correct.
And then I had a random ass Roy who did like literally nothing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did nothing the entire time because AI is stupid and doesn't use alchemy, so he didn't matter. But 2B, Shift Eliza, and Theria were sick. So if you guys want to use those, I would suggest using a mage to take over the cast space. If you have a good mage, like I don't know if Majra is gonna be that great, but yeah. Angela especially, and then Shift Eliza is gonna be good. I'm not sure who else would be good there, to be honest.
I mean, if it's just to take over the cast space, maybe Shift Zekis, but
right. And here's the thing, and you can use longer spells. Like if you have someone you want to give 70% cast speed to, and just cast like a Valzarizer or even like a Grand Cross, like just to take it over.
Yeah.
That's big news because they cast Diamond Dust out the ass, Grand Crosses, Abyss Gates. Very, very annoying. But yeah, it's pretty much just survive and tank it out until you can do all the damage. It's not a very easy battle. And there's 2 parts to it, which I won't really spoil that, but there's 35 million HP to cut down.
Yeah.
And Theria is going to be amazing here for you, for pretty much anyone involved. The amount of damage mitigation that lady gives is a big reason why she's 10. She's a solid 10.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Nick is saying Shift Gorm. Shift Gorm's going to be great here too, just to improve that tankiness. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I love Shift Gorm, and I don't even have him.
Bro. Drip King.
Yep, he is. Forever.
But yeah. That is the new event. Now, Buddha, I would love if you could talk about story.
Oh, I mean, I can. We got some
Tell
cool
us.
things.
I know we don't know spoilers or whatever, but
yeah,
tell us like what's in there. What are we looking forward to?
I won't get into spoilers, but we did get the exposure of this giant capital city.
Yeah,
very
sick.
cool. It's not a big amount of story. It's not a lot of story. From what I noticed, I cleared it.
From what I understand,
quickly.
though, it was still 6K crystals, though. From what I was told.
Yes, my crystal count jumped up significantly because I went up from 19,000 to 29, but take away 4,000 from the bundles, and that gives you exactly about 6K. So yeah, that's really accurate.
That's pretty sweet.
So nice little 2 multis that you get from story if you grind it out. I don't know if hard mode is available. I would imagine it is.
Okay. I would assume so.
So
it usually goes until the final extension, besides the boss battles.
They're pretty good. Yeah, exactly. So you don't get quite the same amount of crystals from hard as normal, but still better than none nonetheless. Cool story. Like, I mean, we're not talking spoilers, but I was in it. I was doing my voice acting, literally. So
believe me, I rolled in at one point. And I said, "I'll come back later."
Yeah, I was full on.
You were
voice
in
acting. I was practicing. So Adis, hit me up whenever you want to restart that English voice dub. I'm your guy. And we got a lot of little things to do around the map as well.
I heard that too.
Yes, so there is now a new treasure chest node, where you collect the treasure chests. You can find up to 12 now. I wish I could be the guide to tell you where all 12 are, but I haven't found them myself. Actually, here is number 9 that I just spotted in front of my eyes, but I imagine more probably become available as you do the subquests. So if you haven't done if you haven't done all the subquests, do those. Of course, that's me speculating just based on past experience, but
that's all right. That's always a good way to go, is just complete everything you can.
Exactly. So I've yet to do that. Also, a big hot topic about the story is that the prices for certain items in the shop.
I heard about that.
Yes. So you're almost there. You're going to reach a certain node soon that has a shop with each item costing 10 million gold.
Right.
Or Zell.
Which is not like realistic.
Which is not realistic, not cheap. Your boy Buddha did buy all of them at that price.
Oh God, no, you didn't.
Because
you didn't know.
I didn't know, and I rushed it. Someone told me right as I did it, so I could, if I had patience, I could have waited and found out that keep doing those subquests. Do not spend the money to get these items, because 1, they suck for that amount, for that price. 2, after a certain amount of subquests, you are going to get an item that drastically decreases the prices to a much more realistic amount.
Yeah, so go way down, like 1/9 of it.
Yes, exactly. Like 1,000% discount.
Yeah.
So your boy Buddha took a lot of L's at the beginning of the live stream, that being one of them. So there's the PSA for those of you who haven't done it yet, and hopefully you didn't do the same thing that I did. Luckily, I have the Maja farm, so I'm not worried about it. But it's definitely an RIP to that money, just wasted.
That's great.
So that's great.
That's so bad. I saw it. Yeah. So I haven't done Story at all yet, and I was on. I believe it was the Facebook group. Someone I got some notification. Pop on. I see the post about. By the way, guys, don't spend this shit. There's an item that decreases the cost, and I'm like, oh my God, I totally would have bought them.
Yes. So it was a bit tragic.
Your
boy Buddha took the L for y'all to know not to do
big
that.
L.
Big L. And I didn't even need to take it. That was known knowledge to the entire community, and your boy Buddha just wasn't.
I'm so glad I waited.
The ball. I'm glad you waited. I'm glad you're not there yet. You haven't done this story. But other than that, I do know that the treasure chest collector, the item that is currently available after you get 12, just like the prior ones, you get a certain amount. You used to get a certain item after you get enough chests. This one allows you to bypass the effect of whatever's going on in the Rad Moon ruins. It's kind of I mean,
I'm gonna go finish Story as soon as we're done.
Yeah, do that, because there is an item, right? It's very similar to like the other items we have in Granzelia, where it lets you bypass the underwater effect that or it increases like the amount of time you can be underwater, stuff like that. So apparently there's I'm wondering if that means we're going to be returning to the Rad Moon, because it's kind of weird to give us that item after we've
Question
done
for
it.
you, actually. What does pollution mean?
Pollution is it cuts your total HP pool. So similar to
I wasn't paying attention. It's probably pretty obvious, huh?
When you look for it, you'll see your health go from like 10,000 to 5,000 cat.
You know I don't pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing that's going to really concern you, Tweaks, but
fair enough.
So
fair enough.
Again, but so in terms of story map,
spell sync. You can ignore the spell sync then.
Exactly.
That's it is.
But I don't even remember what spell sync did.
It cuts your MP in like a half, or no, it doubles the cost of your MP.
Doubles the cost of MP.
Doubles the cost of spells.
Yeah, I think the corrosive swamp is where that cuts your MP in half. I'm pretty sure, or it like diminishes your
By the
EP
way,
a lot.
Amvir is suggesting in chat, yo, did you notice the changes to how gaining and losing max HP looks? So I did notice that when I was giving. My Sarah used HP or vitality phaser, high vitality phaser or something like that, and yeah, it turns green now.
It goes green for a second, and
so I'm assuming it's when you get decreased, it goes red.
It goes red, exactly.
Okay, so I guess that's what I was seeing then. All right,
Yes.
fair enough. I did see pollution.
So I'm glad she brought that up because I did notice that, but I'm kind of like
I like that.
A lot
I
of
like that
those
a lot.
details
I was
go over
very
my head.
confused at first. I was like, am I healing or like, what is going on? And then I realized like, oh, it's just raising the HP. Yeah.
It's the
I like that a lot.
transition. Yeah, it's a good effect. It's nice. Those little minor things, they do make an impact subconsciously. Funny enough too. So I like that they're doing things like that. I hope they continue. It's always good to just switch it up, give it a nice new fresh look. So
yeah, for sure.
anything else I'm missing? I don't think.
I don't know,
so.
bro.
Off my
we could go murder Mardagade again if you feel like it, but we don't have to.
I mean, I feel bad for the dragon at this point, bro.
Well, if you feel bad for him, I don't. Let's go do it again.
The last couple.
Let's go show off the. Yeah, let's end it with a bang. Why not?
The 2 podcasts ago, we were 4 looging it, and now
Now it's just literally 2 Ardines
now
and
it's 2
a small
Ardines.
little machine.
Yeah. Well, I guess now's a good time for Q&A, which we don't do often, which we should probably do more. But
yeah, sure. There's been some questions in there, but I think nothing crazy. I think covered most of what's been talked about. Let me just make sure that you have the stuff on that I want you to.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine a lot of questions for Ardine, like I'm seeing David Hernandez. So have they confirmed that Ardine is OP like next meta OP? Well,
no.
It's not, because that's kind of the beauty of what Tweaks and I appreciate out of Ardine, is that he's not power creeping the entire game. He's not the next meta of the entire game. But when you have a boss like Mardagade, or when they introduce the next dragon boss, this guy's going to be the most OP DPS for that event. So
I think I used the wrong accessory or whatever.
I don't think it'll matter.
No, I don't think it'll matter.
The niche power creep is there, which I think is a really cool way to keep progressing in the game.
I think so too.
So yeah, we are enjoying using him a ton. So with everything, with all the Rad Moon lore coming out, Dying Shift. Listen, Amber. My answer, if the money's not talking,
yeah,
I don't predict that.
It ain't happening.
No, not at all. Let me ask you, Tweaks. Did you have any confidence in speculating who this unit was before they revealed?
No clue. Absolutely no clue.
I was really
This one I had
sold
zero
on
idea.
Megius, bro.
I bet you were. Me too, actually. I thought it was pretty solid guess.
Especially with that sprite. That's nuts. I'm still not hitting cap.
I don't know if we both were that time, but regardless, it doesn't really matter.
I guess not. But I'm also wondering, like, what am I missing? I'm not.
Bro.
I have everything you have, bro. I have everything you have.
No, I don't think I was hitting cap there either. I'm not too worried about it.
No, I mean, listen, I just want consistent caps, bro. I can't be a true LC veteran without consistent caps.
I think hitting 50k is fine, dude.
50k dual wield's
right.
okay?
I'm pretty sure it's alright.
Isn't that what Zlorge hits in his bug? Or does he hit even higher?
Yeah, with a full party of support, sure. He's just clapping dragons with
Vesto,
himself.
shoot me an invite, bro. Did I deny your invite again? I probably did.
You probably did.
I probably did.
No worries.
I'm really bad.
Well, while you're answering questions, why don't we just...
Yeah, no, I'm waiting for your lobby, bro. I can host some too if you want.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. You thought it was gonna be a roll shift? Yeah, no, they're not gonna drop roll and shift like that.
No.
No way.
Dude, no.
No,
I expect soon. Next few months.
Yeah, I'm also pretty confident in my Adel for the 3-year.
I wouldn't be against it. That would be pretty nice.
Thank you for taking the time to answer that. Agreed. Definitely like the way they do the incremental process. Yeah, it's definitely a healthy way to continue the game, I think.
Bro, can we just... Thank you.
Can you talk about some of your best ways? Your opinion of soft capping. Do you know what he means by that? Soft capping? In Last Cloudia, there's crit capping and white capping, I think is the terminology for capping.
Yeah, I referenced hard capping today because the cap, I don't know what he means by that at all.
Yeah, when Tweak said hard cap, that just means that you can't use additional cap raises to go beyond.
All right.
White capping. So I have a whole video on that. Actually, how to reach max caps. And it is unfortunate. Oh, I just started. Oh my God, bro. I forgot. There's a little more maintenance. I just started spamming my skill. My bad.
Okay, I got it. We'll handle it.
Yeah. We did the job. You're going to want to reaching your caps right now. It's really only relevant for physical damage dealers. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I should retract that statement, because with any elemental mages like that aren't Maja and or Angela, well, no, you were struggling to hit cap with Angela, weren't you?
That was me.
Yeah, I remember that.
At first, until I got her build sorted out. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, you're basically looking for damage percent increasing, right? So anything that says like strength, intelligence, or stat increases, those are going to be, unfortunately, a waste of your SC. What's going to propel you to white capping is slapping as much damage percent modifiers on a unit. Mm-hmm. As we have done with Ardine here, because it actually took kind of some tweaking and some testing to figure out
very nice, good plug,
exactly what was needed to bring him up to that 59k cap.
That's what I'm missing.
What were you missing?
I put Outlaws Buckle on. I actually want damage. I want skill damage. I want Mithril Leaf back on.
I can do that.
I don't really need the MP, so it's fine. Yeah, this will work.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Hello,
who else?
Carter. Thanks for the sub.
Who else? Someone asked about my DXR build, so I'll show it right now.
What about Dunkelhelm?
Sure. But we're usually using Tinkili, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, you're right.
This is essentially my DXR build. This is kind of like Cerulean Axe and Iron Piper are kind of the go-tos here. You're getting plus 100% break, and then you're using the Psychic Guild, because if no one else is machining and you have 4 people, it's going to give 150% break. And then essentially Axe Eye Boost and Breaker. That's it. Dual wield. So whatever. Iris Feast. That's it. Not a very complicated build at all. I don't even have him maxed out. Like, he's literally Fourth Awaken bullshit ability. I haven't unlocked any of his new abilities.
Yeah.
This is just disgusting.
I was gonna say don't sleep on DXR and Gobble. Both.
Oh, another big reason of why. Oh, he will one shot this and break, but another big reason of why I like him to use here is because I gave him Purple Orb, and that gives him 2 stocks of his S3. So without an arc to use, giving him another stock of S3 gets him 2. That's a lot of freaking break. That's a lot of break. But he only needs 1 here, so it doesn't really matter. Did we go? Koru is talking about. Did we go over his break? We did not really go over his break, but like it's. I think as we mentioned at one point, it's comparable to like almost as Ike's, but not really. And it forces you to use that charge. Like I want to test him in a full breaking scenario, and that might be part of his showcase that I make, but. Nothing crazy at the moment. It's not like it's broken.
Yeah.
And his S3 is definitely his best break skill.
I guess we could have tested that. Done your little break
test.
No,
we didn't have to. It's kind of like a relative thing, and if people are like watching, they're not really going to be able to tell how much it is.
Okay.
So it's fine.
Alright, here we go.
Let's go.
That looks a lot better.
Yeah, I'm 100%. I'm 100% capping.
You are, bro. I'm not. I don't understand.
Or what awaken are you?
2.
Okay, I'm awakened 4.
It's that big of a difference with the awakenings?
I don't think so. But
I don't think it is either.
I'm just giving you a way out, dude.
I'm frustrated. Lady Outlaw, hello. She asks, how do you learn skills so fast, Tweaks?
How do I learn skills so fast? 1, I used the Sunvessel Island 40x, 80x, 200x AP multiplier that we have right now for Ardine, so he can learn an entire arc at once. But I also use arcs that I've boosted the skills learning phase, the AP of them. So like, let's say I have an arc that is like a meal shop, like we got for free in the near collab. I have these boosted, so I learn them all within 8x AP or less. So that's going to be 1 orb in the skill orb shop or the skill dungeon, and it's done for this entire arc. So boosting your AP rates is what I generally go for. I go for generally like 16, divisible by 16 or divisible by 8, depending on how often I can get the dust for them or the extends. And that increases my ability to quickly learn skills very, very easily. But like stuff like URs and stuff, you're not gonna have UR dust putting into APs. Like that would be the stupidest thing you could ever do. So if I'm ever gonna use a UR dust skill, these take generally just longer, just because I'm never gonna have extends for them. But like for R arcs, I've literally every single R arc can be learned in one skill dungeon. That's it. So 1 orb to learn an entire arc. So that's what I go for. SRs are like half and half, and then SSRs are like no. The SSRs generally, if I have extra extends or extra dusts, I'll put into the like relevant skills. Like Goddess Kiss I have where I can learn an 8. But like the rest of the skills, I don't really give a shit about generally. So picking the others, like Orland Magrona also I have jumped up for Sharp Eyes, and Stone Slayer is given it a little bit, but like that's, you kind of prioritize the skills on the arcs. What else? Is the paid gear really needed for Ardine to be good, or other equipment also work? Other equipment does work, but the paids are very, very good on him.
His paids just synchronize so well with his kit. That's the thing. Yeah. That's the difference between his paids and a lot of other paids that we've seen in the past, is how synchronized they are. They just work so well.
Yeah, and of course, they, like Una says, they're never required.
Never.
But his are particularly very good. Well, I will give them that. They're pretty good.
For sure. No doubt.
Yep. He's sick, man. Bramado is here.
The Bramando's here in Storm, riding up on his giant Harmattancraft.
Harmattancraft? A monster. It's a monster. While we're here, I guess I could just do some little bit of breaksy. Doesn't really matter. It's not really gonna affect anything, but let's just
to end the pod.
Yeah.
Just to get the visual.
So just for mention, I am gonna have to set him up, unfortunately.
How good is DeBorn?
The way
DeBorn is trash, my friend. I don't know.
Who?
I'm Mr. Wall.
At breaking? Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah.
He needs a lot of setup to do so, and it's not fun. But why don't we just bring DXR? We'll bring. So this is the best, as long as there's no other unit with his typing. So he's a soldier. We can get max break. So I'm going to use this and that. We're going to use God of Ruin. God of Ruin is going to increase the break by 50%. Actually, you know what? I don't think it works here because they're gods.
Right. So,
but I'm going to bring it anyways, just for shits. And I need to equip an axe and a spear because we have, it's just what I got to do to get these equip up. So axe, he has it innate, so we're going to go to favorites.
It's right there, yeah.
Apparently don't have.
If you take off the favorites, yeah.
Hold on. I didn't put it on a button machine. God damn it.
Oh, nice.
That's why. Literally an idiot. It's fine. Surely an axe, and like he doesn't need anything else. This is pretty much what I would give on him. What I do need to switch around is give him axe height boost to give 20% break and berserker and breaker. Yes. So this. Axe boost, axe height boost. Sure, we'll just take those off. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, I do remember someone asked. I think it was Deuce. He said, "Why is Ardine so racist to dragons?" And we
don't know yet. I have no idea. We looked through his lore on his page, and I was like, "What?" And literally,
no indication in his lore. Someone did tell me to when I brought that up in my live stream. Someone said do the subquests, but I don't know if that was related to what I was talking about, or if they were just telling me to do the subquest.
Interesting.
So baby.
All right, so I have this, and I'm going to set heavy charge. So heavy charge is the one that's going to give him plus 100% break. Keep in mind this Loug Mesbar. So at a 40% to the break bar is about like a fully decked out Merity S2. 40%. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, Merity's still ridiculous.
Oh, I have full stocks. This is his S3. His S3 is his best break. So that's like 30% maybe. And then we're going to use his S2 to see if we can do some... His S2 is not bad. Considering it's so quick, it's not bad at all. But he's not going to be your
breaker.
But he's
with
good. With a party of like we've used before. Loug Zeus is not necessarily breaker at all.
Correct.
But if you have in multiplayer, if you have 4 units that can do a sufficient amount of break, it's going to be nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would have been interesting to test if we had the other two here and they had the setup.
Yeah.
But
you know what? I think a good. Let me just real quick go to Grog, because I think the Grog is a solid breaker. I want to change this to Honey Elixir so I can actually not wait. But let's see the Grog's S3, and this will be like a good test of like where it's at in.
He's a serious role player. Maybe.
Jesus Christ.
Do dragons
okay, let me just make sure I have axe, high boost, and breaker on them. Literally nothing else matters. Breaker.
We literally fought an enormous fire dragon in the last story.
I don't think I put axe, high boost on her yet, so this might be not a great whatever. It's gonna be fine. Everything's fine.
I think it's okay. Who needs that extra 4%, bro?
Yeah, no one does, right?
It's not like we're min-maxing over here.
Doesn't matter. Okie dokie. We're gonna do like no damage, but it's fine. We're testing break.
That was what someone said, Chuck. Cue a dragon destroyed my village backstory.
I believe it totally. Hello, ma'am?
Oh, you gotta
Rude.
love when they just do their own thing.
Well, I just was slow as fuck. All right. I don't think I missed anything. We don't have to activate heavy charge. We're just gonna go in. So that's a DeGrogue S3. Okay, that's like 45-ish percent.
Yeah, for sure.
Without XI boost, so it's probably around 50% using XI boost. So yeah, I mean that's what you're up against if you're trying to convince yourself that he's a breaker. Which I mean, his break's fine. He's just not like.
He's like a Loug breaker.
Meta.
Just he's decent at it.
And in a full party, it's gonna be great.
In a full party, he's gonna help. Like I think he's comparable to maybe Baron. Or Baron might be less. I haven't used Baron in a while. I should just stop.
Baron's not that good of a breaker.
I should just stop. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably should just stop.
It is 4 minutes past.
No worries. We can dip.
Buddha shutting down. Any final
mental
I know. I started a pretty strict sleep regimen, so I'm trying to stay true to that.
All right, no worries.
2022
I'll let you get to
resolutions. You know what we're saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for the questions. Hope you enjoyed another episode of the POWERCREEP podcast. I will unlist this recording and try to get it up by 6 p.m., the official edited version tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. If you weren't able to catch the full episode. And yeah, I think that's all we got for you this time, guys. Ardine is sick. Thank you to my co-host Tweaks for always showing up and holding it down.
Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for getting Ardine and being able to murder some dragons.
Absolutely. We talked about it, and it happened. So I'm glad it did. Very fun podcast. And we'll see what happens. Not sure if there's going to be an episode next week, but obviously that depends on the content that Last Cloudia provides us. So be on the lookout for that. Always go subscribe to Tweaks, of course. Go check out his channel. Sometimes the podcasts are hosted over there.
Subscribe to Buddha, bro.
Subscribe to the Buddha fam or the Buddha gang.
I'm part of the Buddha fam.
Heck yeah. So we'll always be providing you with the content as best we can, guys. I already said it, but that's all we got for you this time. Like, subscribe, bell notification. You know the drill. And y'all know what we say. Work hard, play harder. See you in the next podcast.